Welcome, Lex. Tonight's topic is really about like an individual program and how to really customize for the individual. And I think you're such a good example of that. You didn't really find incredible success in the traditional classroom.
Yeah.
Um, and I would just like to give people some context for people who don't know you at all. Um, what like describe ninth grade Lex. What was that?
Um, I was really before ninth grade, I had already been starting to deal with some heavy struggles, like personally. And going into ninth grade, I felt like that was just kind of amplified. I was not able to I wasn't able to be like the student I always was, you know. The transition didn't work for me. I wasn't able to keep up with, taking care of myself and the work and just the whole environment.
Can you share what you're comfortable with, like a little bit what that struggle looked like?
A lot of really, really severe anxiety.
Mhm.
That's when anxiety started getting like really rough for me, honestly. I started having really, really severe panic attacks.
Mhm.
I have, GAD, generalized anxiety disorder, and panic disorder. And that was when it really started, you know, kicking me in the butt a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, and it was rough for me to like I couldn't go to a class without having to leave or like freaking out. I couldn't make it through the day.
Yeah. And so
I
like
couldn't function.
if I remember you kind of stopped coming to school altogether a little bit too, right? There
Yeah,
was a
like
period of like what we would call school avoidance.
yeah, I couldn't. I just couldn't do it. Like it started with I couldn't go to class and then it was just I couldn't do it altogether.
And just to fast forward so people know it's a happy ending, tell us where are you sitting? Where are you sitting right now?
I am in my dorm room, my sophomore year of college at Castleton.
Yeah.
Um and I love it here.
Were there like daily battles? What was it like at home with mom? Like, I'm sure she wanted you to go to school, and I'm sure she was caring and sensitive to what was going on with you. What was that like?
Yeah, at first, like I would say when it like first all like when the anxiety really started building up and I really started like missing my classes and not going to school, I think it was her like she definitely pushed a lot more to be like Lex, like you just gotta go, you just gotta do it. But when she really started seeing like what was happening, like I was like it was a physical like a physical struggle for me to be in a classroom. Like I would be on like I couldn't do it. I would freak out. I couldn't breathe. I was shaking. I was sweating. And when she started to realize it was genuinely, hurting me and my mental health and like well-being, she started to understand like okay, maybe there's a different way we can do this. Like this isn't working for you. Like you're having a harder time with this than not, you know.
Yeah, and so let's talk a little bit about that different way. Um, Target was really, really heavily important and instrumental in your capacity to realize your own potential.
Yeah.
We're really so blessed to live in a community with the resources that BBA has.
Yes,
And for
yeah.
people who don't know, BBA is Burr Burton Academy. It's the high school where I worked and how I got connected with Lex. Um,
Yes.
how did you make, how did you even think about Target as an option? And how did you make that decision?
I remember, I think it was you actually that had brought it up to me. Like
Probably.
during my finals of freshman year, I was leaving one day and you had came up to me outside and you were like, "Have you thought about the Target program? Like I feel like you would do a lot better down there." And I was like, "Well, I've heard about it, but like I don't really know."
Yeah. Did you feel, I don't know, insulted or like when I came up to you, were you like, why is he talking to me like that? How did
At
you feel?
first I was kind of like damn, am I like really? But then, like I was like, okay, like I haven't actually been there. Like I'm not really sure. And I was just really iffy on it until I had visited. And then once I had visited, I was like, wow, like okay, like this could be like a good opportunity for me.
What was it? What was it about? What was it about that environment?
One just said it was a lot smaller.
Hmm.
That was like the huge thing for me. There was way less people to deal with. um in a sense, it just seemed more tight knit. It just seemed more personal. Like,
Mhm.
they'll accommodate you with like what works for you, you know? Like,
Mhm.
they'll do like their best to motivate you and get your work done and do what you have to do, but they'll do it in a way that works for you, you know?
Yeah.
And you
And
could see
so,
that.
like, the school avoidance just magically turned off overnight?
Oh god, no. Oh
Tell
god,
me more.
no. God, no. No. When I first started going to Target, it was a little, because it was again a new environment. I was kind of like, okay, like this is a little different. But I will say pretty quickly I did adjust fairly well. It wasn't like that,
Yeah.
but I would say within, like, because I went my sophomore year. By the end of my sophomore year, I would say I was like very, very comfortable with where I was at there and very happy about it.
What would you have done if you weren't at PBA where we had a target program?
That was something my mom and I have actually talked about like a couple times, and we've both even said like if I wasn't able to have that, education, like that specialized learning, I probably wouldn't have made it through high school.
Yikes.
Yeah, like
That's a
I
scary
don't think I
thought,
would
right?
have.
Because here you are, like in college, doing well, and
Yeah.
like it just really goes to show that um, a lot of the educational model is forcing the square peg into a round hole, and we're fortunate to be in a community that sees the individuals for who they are. But I work with kids across the country and families across the country. Um, that maybe don't have the same options. And I'm always like, well, what I'm
Yeah.
always asking parents, like, what are the options, you know? And like, there was nothing that we could have done to force you to go to school. We needed to actually build a program around you.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and we're just so lucky that you were able to do that.
Yes. I'm very fortunate for that.
So then again, how did you go from school avoidance to early college? And like, that's such a leap. That's like,
Yeah.
right? How did that happen?
um so I guess as I started, I was doing like the typical, like just the core classes at Target, math, English, just the
Yeah.
typical
Yeah,
stuff.
general credits.
Yeah, I was doing all that stuff. I think it was kind of the more I started realizing how well I was doing, the more motivated I got because they could also see it too, and that had really pushed me. I
Wins,
think,
the wins cycled. The wins for you, like you started to hit little wins, and then they
yeah,
encouraged you to get bigger wins, and you started to believe in yourself again.
yeah. Like once I started seeing that I was actually like progressing, like Kathy would pull me into her office and be like, "Lex, look at like the difference here between like your work and your grades and your attendance and just all that." And I could actually see it in front of me. I was
Hmm.
like, "Wow, like I'm I'm doing well. Like I'm doing
Yeah.
good." And that made me want to just be like, "Okay, if I can do it now, like I feel like I can push a little bit harder and do more."
And I know all three of those individuals down there are very special people, Blair, Ed, and Kathy for you, and continues
Yes.
on today with other special people. Nancy, I think, is so awesome that Nancy's down there. Did you have an
Yes.
IEP? Remind me, a 504 IEP?
I had a 504.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the
Yep.
anxiety.
Yes.
Yes.
So I had like weekly counseling.
At school?
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Um, which of those three was your mentor?
Either Ed or Blair. I would
Hmm.
say depending on the issue, it
Say
would
more.
either, yeah, depending on the issue, it'd be Ed or Blair.
What's an ed issue?
Ed issue would be like, actually, I know. I guess they're kind of the same. Yeah. I guess I feel like I went to them equally.
Equally, just whoever was available that day.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like I went to them equally. Yeah.
What's the importance? I mean, obviously, um, reaching a student who's struggling is relational, right? Like they have to
Yeah.
know you and trust you. So how did what did they do to foster positive relationships? What was it about the individuals as teachers that helped you?
I think a big part of it was that it wasn't. They wouldn't just motivate you or like push you to better with academics, they would care about like your personal life, you know. They would try and grow like to actually get to know you and your life and like your personal struggles, you know, and they would try and support that also and like motivate when they could. And I feel like that grew a big connection over time.
Yeah. And that's so much of the work that I'm still trying to do today in this online environment. I'm trying to get kids where I see them twice a week and I have office hours and I try to get to know them. And we spend that time like getting to know them before I really start to like push them. Because
Yeah,
kids,
yep.
right? Like you need to have a connection with someone before they're able to push you. Otherwise, it's your hackles go up immediately.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that was kind of one of my biggest issues freshman year was kind of I didn't really feel that like personal connection or like that I would be able to get like that personal assistance or you know whatever that I needed. It
Right.
was just kind of like okay, this is what it is and you got to do it.
Mhm.
And I was like, "Oh, well what if I can't do it?" you know?
So now, like, talk me through the journey because obviously Castleton is not like a tremendously huge campus, but it's a sizable campus.
Yeah.
So, like, how are you able to navigate that environment? Obviously you're an older, more mature person now, but there's got to be more to it than that.
Yeah. So my junior year is when I started CCB, and that was just all online. But my senior
Sorry,
year,
just for people listening, CCV is Community College of Vermont. Continue.
yeah, at my senior year, I went in person. Um, and I think that really helped me, honestly, even though it's a very small school, community college in Bennington that I went to. Um, it was still it helped me open up to the idea of like different people shifting through college classes, you know.
Hmm.
Um, and when I got here, another huge thing that helped me, they have this program for incoming freshmen. It's called the Summer Bridge Program,
Hmm.
and they only accept like up to 30 kids out of they usually have like between 1 and 200 apply each year. And I still tell my mom like if I didn't do that program, I feel like all of last year would have been such a wreck for me.
Hmm.
But that really helped me out, just ease into it and get to know my area and surroundings first.
What are you studying?
Forensic psychology.
What do you hope to do with that?
Become a forensic psychologist.
So again, I think what I'm hearing you say is that in order to reach someone who is kind of on the out, someone who's struggling to find their way or to believe in themselves, one, they need individual attention. So you need to kind of meet them where they're at, right? And then
Yeah.
two, you need to tap into their passion. You can't
Yes.
just try and make that kid who's having a hard time engaging. We can't just make them engage. We have to
Yeah.
really like meet them where they're at and then coax them along. They're not going to follow the traditional pathway. They might
Yeah.
take longer. They might need some alternatives, but it doesn't mean that their entire future is out the window.
Yeah,
It
they
just
could be
means
the next Albert Einstein. They just might need their own way to get there.
so well said. I really appreciate that you took the time tonight. I'm going to ask you one more question. Okay.
Okay.
A parent and a kid had met with me and they're kind of on the fence and they're like, I don't want to take on another thing. I'm already feeling overwhelmed. Like, if I take on working with this guy, isn't that going to just give me more stress in my life? Like, what would be the advice? You talk about like accepting help, like what would be your advice for that family as they're considering whether they should be a part of what I've got going on?
I mean, getting help can be really hard, and it is a really hard thing for a lot of people to do. It was really hard for me to do my freshman year, as you saw. The more you push off getting help, the harder it's going to be, and the more help you're going to need, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You keep digging the hole, it just
Yeah.
gets harder and harder to get out.
Yeah.
Let's start
Yeah.
backfilling that hole. And it doesn't mean you're going to get out right away, but it does mean that you can start to fill in that hole and make some progress in your life.
Yeah, don't be afraid to reach out. We're all human beings, you know? There's billions of us. so many of us are gonna be connected and will be connected, you know? Might as well help each other.